just like the hat says, is when we break down unusual activity that has occurred during that trade session. Sometimes we do a little look back at previous sessions and we try to answer some of your questions. With all of that said, let's open up today's 6th of October, 2021, 3 at 3. First one on our hit parade today is Twitter. And one of the reasons is probably that Strike, as you may have heard me say, has they do payment processing on the Lightning platform, or Lightning for the Bitcoins and so forth. Twitter is able thus to basically become a bit of a payments play as well as a social media play. And we all know that Monday, the outage over at Facebook caused anybody who wanted to be up on social to go over to Twitter. And in fact, it overwhelmed Twitter for a while too. But we saw unusual activity with the stock under 61. We saw 7,600 of the 22nd of October. I'm not putting up air quotes. That's when I do this, that's 2. If I do it like this, that's 22. Anyway, 22 October, 65 calls. So not the regular October expiration that would only be 2 weeks from now. This is 3 weeks out, the week after regular October expiration. They're buying at the 65 strike, and they bought in pretty big numbers. 7,600 contracts is 760,000 share equivalent. So that's the first of today's 3 at 3. Let's get to number 2. And for number 2, we have 2 because Apple has hit twice today for unusual activity. The first one we had was what I talked about on the halftime report, 27,000 of the weekly 142 calls. That was with the stock at 140. Apple had been struggling and trying to get back from 138 lows that it hit on Monday and again yesterday. Well, they couldn't push it down further, at least in the short term, they could not. And so if you can't beat them, join them, I guess. They bought 27,000 of the 8th of October expiration 142 calls. And then, or as my friends in the infomercials might say, but wait, there's more. And indeed, there was more. With the stock at 140-ish, still, they bought 6,000 of the 12th of November. Again, they're picking odd expirations, folks. They are not picking expirations specific to earnings necessarily, although we will be, the 12th of November calls will encompass the earnings, but that's not your pure earnings play. Nonetheless, they bought all the way up to the 147 strike. So in other words, a return back towards the highs of the year, 6,000 times for the 12th of November calls. That is 600,000 share equivalent. So the one is 2.7 million share equivalent for this Friday. The other 600,000 share equivalent for the 12th of November. Both of them worth watching and or trading. It's up to you. You know what I'm going to do. Buy at the money, sell out of the money. It's what I do. Bang. Now we get over to energy. And had a disagreement with my friend Joe Terranova on the show today because Marko Kolanovic was, and Joe was Johnny on the spot to catch this. And what he caught was that Kolanovic was saying, you know what, $130 oil, not going to be too scary for the markets. It can handle it. And I'm thinking, no, we can't. I will be surprised if we can handle it. I would be betting against that in a pretty big way, that the market can handle it. I also don't think we're going there in the short term, but time will tell. Time will tell if Marco and Joe are right or John is right. But I don't think we're going to 130 for crude. And I certainly don't think a sustained 130 is something the market will tolerate. I think when we get to 100, in fact, we're going to see production come on at record levels if we get to 100. And I do think we might see that. But as we hit 90, I know a lot of folks in West Texas, and yes, Darren, I'm talking about you, one of our big clients, would love to see $100 oil. If we see it, it's going to be fabulous for oil. It ain't going to be good for the economy. I don't think the economy will tolerate it for long. Anyway, with all that commentary, OVV, what do? Exploration and production of natural gas and crude oil. $9 billion company that you never heard of, OVV. So OVV. Stock's $35.60. They step in and buy the January 38 calls. Could we get there in a hurry? You bet we could, especially if we see triple digit crude oil. The exploration will ramp like crazy. I've already told you, I predict that. These calls, they bought 1.68 million share equivalent of these. OVV at the end of August, folks, was a $23 stock, $23. Now, $35.60, and seems like it wants to go a lot higher. So that's what I'm throwing out there to you. 1.68 million shares of the January 38 strike. That's worth watching, worth trading, I think. I bought the at the monies here and on the rally that we're likely to see here. And in fact, are already seeing here, I will be selling more at higher prices against it. We're back to about 35.90 right now. 30-cent rally, that ain't enough to get me excited about selling the upside calls yet, but it will. Questions. If you have questions, please direct them to us through my Twitter account, which is at Jon without an H, Najarian. The guy with the H was my dad. Lovely guy. John is him. Jon is John. Thank you. It does always, it's nice that it reminds me, just like many of you who are named for a parent or a loved one. It is great to be reminded of my dad whenever I do that. Affirm, not the horse, the stock. And Carol Christ, a friend of mine, former First Lady of Florida. Hi, Carol. Always great that you show up at these investment conferences. She's a smart investor, folks. A wonderful lady. Also kind of easy on the eyes. You can see how a First Lady like Carol Christ could be very popular, especially in a state like Florida. Now she's involved in a lot of philanthropy. And so my tip of the hat to you, Carol. Hi, Jon. Affirmed made a nice run in the last couple of days. Buy now, pay later. Seems hot. Where do you see it going from here? Thanks, Carol Christ, Miami. Carol, I do see it going a lot higher. As you know, it has made its way back towards AFRM, towards 130. In fact, today it's 135.30, higher by some $23. So it's a 21% jump today. Bang. That's what I'm talking about. I love it when these trades work out, and clearly here's one that's working out. Buy now, pay later. You see it almost everywhere. And the fact that they added this one, Carol, to the Amazon platform just made it all the more attractive. Bang. Oh, and by the way, sorry, Carol Christ's handle, because we always like to announce your handles, guys, is CAROLECRIST. Thank you, Carol. Let's do Elijah now. And Elijah's handle is at Elijah. That's that's ElijahShevchenk. Shevenk. Hey, Elijah. You know I'm going to screw up your last name, man. So let's just go with Elijah. Should we prepare for CPI, for consumer prices, in other words, to be much higher due to the recent surge in energy prices? Yes. But you know what? And I know you know this, Elijah, but when we take out the volatile food and energy inputs, oh, it's only up 4%. It's not really up 9%. It's up 9%. So watch it. Yeah, they'll take that out, but we're not buying any of the crap that any administration, including this one, would sell us regarding transitory inflation. I think it's going to be higher inflation for longer. And a lot of it will depend also on how much they're able to get through with this reconciliation. And because then they'll have to try to find ways to pay for it, which means higher taxes. Stops. Yogi, and the handle here is YOGIBEAR 413. Jon Najarian 3@3_UOA. Doc, do you always put a stop immediately after you buy a call spread? 50% below what you paid for the spread, correct? Thanks for helping out your average Joes of Rebellion Nation. Thank you to all of you rebels. And thank you, Yogi. Yes, I do. I always set a stop. For my actively traded stocks, and I can tell you what they are right now: Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, Twitter, Affirmed, I think that's my short list of actively traded. I might trade those multiple times a day. For those on that list, I have a mental stop for where I want to pull the trigger if I'm wrong, or for where I'm going to take profits when I'm right, because I do both. When I'm right, I take a profit at a double of the option. Option goes from $1 to $2. I've got half off. And then I'll let the rest run, and I'll snug a stop underneath it as it keeps running, hopefully. And to the losses, where I just cut the whole position, well, that's at a 50% drawdown. And like I say, half of those, not half, maybe a quarter of those are on my live trading desk all the time. I'm looking at them right now on my screens. And the rest, I've already set the stop. So in other words, when I buy that option, I'm able to say, stop me out at this price. One of you asked a question also about that. Does the market maker community get to see my stops? Not my stops on the platforms that I trade on. And we will be bringing out a Market Rebellion trading platform. We're doing it in conjunction with Voyager. That is public knowledge. Voyager is a publicly traded stock, so I had to say that. But we will be bringing out stock, options, futures. Voyager, of course, already has crypto. So we'll be a full service everything. That's coming in the first quarter of next year. Of course, Voyager Digital is already here now with their great trading platform, VYGVF, but it's for cryptos. The rest of it comes next year. So anyway, yes, I do set stops. I have both mental stops as well as actual stops on our platform, and you will be able to do the same. Bang. Join the rebellion today by going to marketrebellion.com/get started. That is marketrebellion.com/get started. Thank you, folks, for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the download, and I hope you had some of the winners that we've got out there, like Affirm, because this one has been off to the races. I hope you had some, and I hope wherever you are, you're safe, happy, and ready for another great trading day tomorrow. See you then.